Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, we could really use your help. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, recently named the Too Opinionated podcast one of its top 100 podcasts. This is a monumental feat for this program. We're a father and son team out of a small town in West Virginia, have been doing this for about 5 years. There's 15 million podcasts out there. About 40,000 of those get to the point that they're listed on IMDb. Out of those 40,000 out of the 15 million, we were ranked number 82. Something that we're just immensely proud of. We're so thankful for our listeners, our watchers, our fans. Thank you so, so much. If you would like to help us out, and we're asking for it, please. It's easy. It's really easy. It's free. If you go to IMDb, that's imdb.com, look up Too Opinionated Podcast, and just take a look at the page. That's all you have to do. I mean, you're welcome to look at the cast, look at the episodes so you can kind of see who's been on the program. Do whatever you want. But even just bringing up the page, imdb.com, Too Opinionated Podcast, bring up the page, look at it. That helps us so much. So please, if you can do anything, we would really appreciate that. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Love to have your subscription there. It's also free. And you can also check out our website, meistercon.com, where you'll find almost 700 episodes, audio and video, available on there. There's also a terrific blog from Brett, and it'll let you know anything that we have going on in studio, if we're covering a convention, if we're going on location, anything that we have going on will be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so, so much. We appreciate you so much. I can't express enough how appreciative we are of all of you. We never expected to do as well as we have, and that's all because of you. Thank you so much. Enjoy that interview. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got actress Annabelle O'Hagan with me. So welcome, Annabelle.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Mike. This is so lovely.
I like your spelling of Annabelle.
Thank you.
I know.
There's not many of us, the two N's and one L's.
I know. I like that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
If you really think about it, that's kind of how it sounds, because you get the Anna and then the Bell.
I know, but usually when I say one L, they also want to take out an N too. So
yeah,
I'll tell my mom that you like my spelling.
I like it.
Yeah.
My son that does the podcast with me, his name's Brett. And I really wanted to name him with one T for Brett Maverick. I was like, that'll be cool. And his mom insisted on that second T, and she was right. Looking at it now, I'm like, yeah, that works better.
Marriage is all about compromise.
That's right. That's right. She knew. I did not. I was like, Brett Maverick, it's perfect.
Right. No. Yeah.
No.
She's gonna win. She carried the baby for 9 months.
Well, and being honest, he fits a Brett with two T's.
Two T Brett. Yeah.
Two T Brett.
I'm a two N's, one L kind of girl too. Yeah.
So we have to talk Fallout, but before we get to that, tell me a little bit about what got you into acting, because that's a hard profession. What made you want to go into that?
Right. Well, you see, on the playground, I'm just joking. No, but truly, I was always really good at playing pretend as a kid. And I always had a love for the performing arts. I started out as a ballet dancer. Yeah, which is a very different world than the acting world, even though they're both performing arts. Ballet is incredibly disciplined and rigid.
Oh, it's intense.
It's very intense. It's also a sport. People don't acknowledge that ballet is.
I'm a dad of a dancer. I mean,
you get it.
She's got her own kids and married and everything, but she danced all the way up through high school. So I know it's hard work.
It's so competitive, and it takes over your life and your body and all of it. And it was such a wonderful way for me to step into the performing arts and to allow myself a better awareness of my body, which I think is so important as an actor. But ultimately, I think I also found the ballet world to be a little too rigid, and especially around my early teens, I was starting to want to find other ways of expressing myself that weren't quite so buttoned up. And I was really lucky to have some great mentors early on who pushed me and allowed me to sort of explore who I am as a person and who I want to be as an artist. And I think early exploration in art, especially as an actor, is about finding the peaks and the valleys and everything in between. And what better time to do that when you're a teenager, where your emotions are always peaks and valleys. And
Yeah.
I was really, really lucky to have mentors in high school who just pushed me forward. And I'm like you said, like, acting is a very competitive
That's
industry.
tough.
It's like they say, if you can do anything else, do that, because
Right.
acting industry is.
Well, I was getting to that question. Is
Yeah.
how did your parents feel about you going into acting? Because as a parent, I would be like, well, okay, but what's the backup plan?
Sure. No, they've always had an unbelievable amount of faith in me, and I'm so thankful for that. And they've always supported me. I'm really truly lucky, because I know that, like, that's not always the case when a child chooses the performing arts. But what I do appreciate that my parents did is they always wanted me to keep my options open. I always played sports. I played sports and did theater. When I was, choosing where I wanted to go to college, they were, they wanted me to pick whatever they thought that I would excel most in, but they also were like, hey, get a liberal arts education. You're not done being a nerd.
That's
Because I was
right.
a nerd. I was like such a nerdy kid growing up that they
Same.
knew I wasn't ready to start just a performing arts BFA kind of
Right.
program. They were like, we don't think a conservatory is the right place for you. And I think when I first heard that, I was like, you don't believe I can do it? And they're like, no, we want you to continue to grow as a human being, and
Yeah.
not just like pigeonhole yourselves
Oh,
to.
they handled it good.
Yeah, they did. And I kept finding my way back to acting. And but there were a million other things that I thought about doing. Like, I wanted to be an OBGYN at one point, and organic chemistry meant that once I took that class, I was like, never mind. uh,
A lot of us felt
yeah,
that way.
yeah. And then I wanted to be a psychiatrist or a therapist, and I actually did study psychology all through college. I have a double major in psychology and theater. And I ended up just like really learning about so many different things that only help me as an actor today. I don't think just going to an acting class is the way that you become a good actor.
No, I
You
agree with
have
that.
to, like, you have to become a real human being. You have to become
You
a
got to have
person.
some life experience.
Yeah, you've got to have some life experience, and you've just got to learn about all of the different pieces that come together to make someone a human being. And that's
Yeah.
that's psychology, that's literature, that's other art forms, and
I love that. And
yeah,
I do think that, especially if you're, say, an introvert, or if you're nerdy, that sports, dance, any of that stuff where you become more confident just in your own skin, that has to help
yes,
with acting. Because acting is
yeah.
so uncomfortable and you're so
Oh,
nervous most of the
yeah,
time. I'm imagining, I haven't done it.
you are, yeah,
But
no,
yeah, but if you're
people
confident
get
in just how you
comfortable.
feel, in your body, there you go.
Right. And I think, like, sports also teaches you the discipline that you need to be an
That's
actor.
true.
You can't just like show up and expect that everyone's
Right.
going to fall at your feet and say, "Wow, will you please be in my movie?" It's not like that.
What was
So
your
a
sport?
lot of I actually ran track and field.
Oh, what was your event?
I was an 800 and a mile runner.
Oh, the
Uh,
distance. Yeah.
Distance, yeah. And
I
I
was a
wanted to run.
400 guy.
Oh yeah, I
So,
got put on the 400
okay.
4x4 team every now and then, but like against my will. I was like, I'm not a sprinter. These legs only go so fast. I
I
can do
was
a long
the
time, but not very quickly.
I was the slow guy on the 100 and the 200 relays. So like I was fast enough to
400
be
is
on
fine.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
400 was my race. That was
Sure.
me. But the one
Yeah.
200, I was the slowest of the four.
Yeah.
I
It's okay.
always ran like second on that race.
Yeah.
Where the 400, I was either first or last.
Right, right. No, I hear you. That was me on the 400. I was always like, it's always the last race at a track meet too, is the 4x4. And I was like, please don't put me in. I'd already have eaten like a donut and a bagel, and
Well,
they'd
yeah,
be like,
because it's a
"Hey,
sprint
Annabelle,
the
you're
whole
back in."
time.
Yeah. Anyway,
Do you still run?
I do. I actually just ran. I ran the New York City
No,
Marathon.
you did not.
Yeah, I did.
I've got a good friend that's an actress that had trained all year to be in it, and then got hurt and didn't get to run. So
No.
she's
Oh,
trying
the
for this year.
marathon training. The fact that she trained it all is
What I told her, that's still impressive.
it is so hard. I have a newfound respect. I come from a family of athletes. I was like the theater kid out of all of the athletes, but um, I my all everyone in my family, pretty much except for me, had run a marathon already. My sister's run six, like she's
Oh my
crazy.
gosh.
Yeah, and so I felt like I needed to do it.
She also act.
She does not. She does not. No, she's wonderful. She's a mom and she works for Stripe, and she does this great job, and
Six is really, I mean, one's impressive. Six, I can't even imagine.
I know. She's kind of a superhuman.
I
But
mean, I run, but
it,
it's, at best, it's probably more like 6, 7 miles at a time. Most of
that's
the time, it's like 3 to 5. I'll do it
yeah.
3 or 4 times a week.
Listen, the minute I finished that marathon, I was like, okay, we're going back to, walk runs.
How long did it take you to recover?
2 weeks. Took me
Yeah,
two
I was
whole
going to say that has to. That has to tax you.
weeks. I also got kind of injured in the middle of my training, so I had to pause that, and I had to sort of retrain my body in the last
Yeah.
month of
Oh,
before my
that's not ideal.
intense. Yeah, it wasn't ideal, but I'm so glad I did it. And yeah, running and sports and being outside is a huge part of my life still. And I
That's
really like,
the Virginia girl in you.
yeah, exactly, exactly. It's the Virginia. There's definitely fewer places to trail run in New York City, but
Yeah.
we make it work. Yeah.
Don't you think it's I've always found talking with actors, most professions, most of us, we want to do something, whatever it is, when we're little. We don't end up doing that.
Yeah.
Actors are different though. Like if you're really in love with entertaining, that's normally what you go into. I always find that kind of interesting because you figure it out so young, where the rest of us, we're going through college and maybe still don't know what we want to do.
Yeah. No, it's so true. It's sometimes I pinch myself, and when I'm on set and I'm working and I like take stock in the moment, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I am dressing up and playing pretend and people are paying me money to do this."
It's not
That's
terrible.
ridiculous. Who would do that? No, I'm kidding. It's so I not to diminish the importance of actors and telling stories, but I really truly like even if I get to do it, of course it's a competitive industry and jobs are difficult to come by. But if you get the chance to do it,
Yeah.
you like just have to be thankful for every moment, because it truly is a dream to get to be imaginative and play and um, do it with a whole amazing cast of, if you're lucky, with a cast like I got to work with on Fallout, and a crew who are just really brilliant. And if you get that many creative minds in one place, magic happens. And it really is the coolest job ever. We're not doctors, we're not curing cancer. I think there are moments where we can both undervalue and overvalue, actors in the whole entertainment industry just in general. But um, I really do think we have a capacity to change lives and change perspectives through storytelling.
Yeah, agree.
And in a way that is so subversive, right? It's not like I'm standing up there giving a TED talk about my beliefs, but if with a really, really good script, right, you can sway people's opinions and garner empathy for people who you never thought you could. And that's like my
I
favorite
love
part of
that.
the whole thing, is that you have the ability to tell stories that increase empathy.
Yeah, I love that. I may have to use that.
Sure. Thank you. I got it from an acting teacher, I'm sure, at some point. We all just borrow this,
Oh, that's truth.
Yeah.
Like I've been saying, I've got little sayings, and I've
Mhm.
said them to the kids their whole life, and I thought they were my sayings. And then we'll be watching a movie or something, and they'll say it. I'm
Yeah.
like, crap.
You're like, shoot, I wasn't the original person.
Wasn't me.
Oh, no. And that's a similar thing to, when I approach acting too. Someone wise once told me, like, you will not be able to find within yourself a piece of humanity that hasn't been experienced already. So
That's
you
true.
you should study great films, study other actors, because these are the people who are going through and retelling these stories, and you start to find patterns. And I think every actor is an individual, and that's a really, really important piece of who we are as artists. I think it's so specific that we have to use our bodies and our voices as our instrument.
Yeah.
And everyone is going to be, unique in their own way. But at the same time, the human experience doesn't change all that much. So I think we always have to go back and study other folks and admire other actors and say, ooh, you know, that I like this actress because she can do this. She can, let's say, build tension really well. And I'm not so good at building tension, which is true. And I want to borrow that from her. How do I study her and, not steal, but steal
No, but that's
how
smart.
she does it? And you have to do that. I don't think there's not one brilliant actor who hasn't done that. And, I think
Well, nobody's going to get upset about that
no,
because you're just trying
no,
to better
no,
yourself.
they know you are you. You can't change
Right.
who you are, but you can borrow tactics, and it's a way of honoring the art form. It's really
Have you seen a performance recently that moved you? Have you like another actor?
so many. I actually was in Washington, D.C. this weekend, and I saw the Macbeth with Ralph Fiennes.
Oh, amazing.
And Ralph Fiennes was, of course, fantastic. He can do no
He's
wrong.
fantastic in everything.
Yeah, he's just really, really spectacular. Um, and Indira Varma, who's from Game of Thrones, she played one of the women from Dorne in Game
Oh
of
yeah.
Thrones. She played Lady Macbeth. And
Oh, I could totally see her playing Macbeth.
yes, yes, and she's so good. And what's so special about her performance is she makes you laugh. She's like, you can see how she's choosing all of these dark and twisted, choices for her and her husband. And this performance was motivated by love in a way that I haven't seen a Lady M ever motivated
Yeah.
that way before. And it was touching in a way, even though I know her character is totally twisted and she makes some crazy choices. Um, but but Indira really was able to. One of my favorite actor phrases is "Love is always the strongest choice."
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on in a scene. Like if you receive a scene, you're supposed to act it out, and you don't know where to start. Finding where the love is, or finding how you can like love the other character in that scene is always the strongest choice. Um,
That's good advice.
she did that, and she does that in the show, and it was really moving. And
I love
I
that.
love theater. I grew up as a theater kid, and so it's always really nice to go back to the theater, and hopefully I get to go back and do a bit more work on stage
Does it
someday.
does it mess you up like my son? He's been to film school, and once he went to film school, he said it messed up some movies for him because now
Mhm.
he's seen too much of the secret sauce, so to say. With that, does that happen with you? You know what's going on. You kind of understand the behind the scenes stuff. Does that mess up your viewing pleasure?
Well, there are moments. There are for sure. No, I don't think it ruins anything for me. I think I admire it even more. I do notice it. I do notice when, they've shot a scene in a certain way in order to, create tension or otherwise. And I do notice when the lighting is fantastic, but I think I mostly just notice it when it's really good. And I'm like,
Yeah,
wow,
that's right.
that's really cool that seeing the artistic choices. And I think I used to watch TV and film only to watch the actors. And now I feel like having a greater understanding of what everyone else on a set does and how important their jobs are to make this good. Um, and
Well, yeah, there's all these people behind the scenes that we don't think about, but you couldn't
right,
make anything without them.
right. And it's funny. I think I do notice the behind the scenes things, but I pause movies a lot. So whenever I'm watching them with my fiance, he's like, Annabelle, can you please? I'm like, but I just pause it, explain to him why that's a great scene and why it was acted so beautifully and why the lighting was
I'm
just so.
sure he appreciates that
He's
quite a
like,
bit.
no, he's like, can we just watch the film? And I'm like, you're right. Um, no, but it is fun. I think there are moments where I have to watch. Um, if I really truly want to relax and sort of turn my brain off, I kind of need to watch like reality TV or Survivor
Yeah.
because
Oh,
I'm not,
big Survivor fan.
I am, I love Survivor.
Me too. Like I'd be a terrible
I
contestant,
would be awful. I
but
would
I
be
love it.
hungry and so cranky the whole time, but I love watching it. And that's sort of a way that I relax because I'm not thinking about the actors. These are just people being people, for the most part, you know. So yeah, no, I think it's really fun the more that I learn about the industry, the more I get to enjoy these films and just see them differently.
Well, when you have good acting, it's not that hard to
Mm,
just fall into it.
yeah,
Like when I watch something, it's like I'm right there if I'm into it. I get so into the scene. It's like I'm like part of the scene, but not actively doing anything. I'm just there observing.
yeah, exactly. It's true. It's true. It's lovely.
Yeah,
It's a wonderful thing when a film or a TV show can like transport you out of
it
time
is.
and space and yeah. And it
Especially
looks
like when
so
you lose track of time.
yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
great. What were you saying? I interrupted you.
I know I was saying it feels so effortless, even though there's so much
Yeah.
involved. I mean, if you were on that set, there would be a million people around running around trying to make it all look so effortless. But when you watch it and it looks effortless, I'm just like, you have to applaud that because
Yeah.
it's really
Pretty
quite
great.
difficult to do. Yeah, it's
So we
fun.
got to talk Fallout, right? I can't
Yeah.
let you go without talking Fallout.
Yeah.
So with me and
Yeah.
Brett played all the games. Big
Okay.
fan. Huge.
Cool.
I have not. I mean, I know a little bit of Fallout just by osmosis, kind of absorbing some stuff, because
Right.
you see it everywhere.
Right.
But I didn't know anything about it. And Brett has a difficult time starting new shows. So he doesn't normally do it. It's like it's too much. He's like, I just can't do it, Dad. But he really got into Fallout and watched the whole, season,
That's
kind of binged it. He doesn't do that. And I was like, well, if he's going to do that, it must
right.
be good.
Right.
I watched going in, not really knowing much about it,
Yeah.
and loved it. I mean, I was hooked probably 15 minutes in.
Oh my gosh.
Loved it.
That's
And I told you off camera, you were our favorite character because she was so weird and quirky.
stop. She is weird. She's very weird.
She
Yeah.
just always looked like a badass, kind of standing, like always, it always felt like, well, she could kick somebody's ass at a moment's notice.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she totally could.
And she
Uh,
didn't seem bothered by the eye thing.
oh, the whole no. She got a new accessory out of it. What are you talking about? She
Oh,
was
that's right. She's new and improved.
she's new and improved. She's rocking that eye patch. No, it's Steph is my crazy psycho housewife dream girl. Truly, she just is um so strong and patriotic and she gives off the vibe of a 1950s housewife, but
Yes.
then that aspect of her character is subverted in
Right.
the way that she receives a fork to the eye in episode 1. Sorry, spoiler. It's in the trailer, so it's not much of a
She
spoiler.
takes it well, though. She just kind of
Takes it
moves
like a champ.
on.
Well, she then grabs that gun and it to shoot that scene was perhaps one of the top 10 days of my life. I had too much fun. I really did. I mean, I sort of background on Steph. I knew the show was going to be produced and I was so excited about it. And I was like, all I wanted is an audition for the show. And I did get one. and it was sent to me over email, and it was one scene, one short scene. And I
Yeah.
was like, all right, well, one scene character, that sounds good to me. I really want to be a part of the show. I was like, I literally told someone like I would give an arm or a leg to be part of the show.
Why?
I only had to give up an eye in the end. So really it's a pretty good deal. And I did my audition, and I did it over and over and over, and I taped it until like 3 in the morning, and I sent it off, and just crossed my
Did
fingers.
they identify it as Fallout? They didn't try to hide what it was?
No, they did identify it as Fallout. Um, they did, but there was a hidden name once we were all on set, of
Yeah.
course. But no, in that audition, I was allowed to know, and I got to read the first episode, and it was just so fantastic.
Yeah.
And I submitted the tape, and then, as I always do, I just forgot about it. Right? You when you submit those tapes,
You
you
have
can't
to.
hold on to them. I would be like sitting there wondering and twiddling my thumbs, and it's not good for your brain. So I did what any normal person would do, which I went on a trip to Italy. Just kidding. I went with my
Pretty
fiance,
nice.
and we had been planning it for months, and we're like, all right, we're just gonna go. And I sort of left the tape behind, and I was in Florence, and which is my favorite city in the world. And we were walking around Florence,
Beautiful.
and my managers called, and they're like, "We have great news." And I was like, "What?" And they're like, "You just got to roll on Fallout." And I was like, "Woohoo!" Thinking it was one scene character. And I was like, "That's amazing." And then they're like, "And we have better news." And I was like, "What's that?" And they're like, "She's a recurring character." And I was just like, I mean, I was that crazy American tourist, like running around crying, because I knew I wanted to be a part of this project from the very beginning, and it was such an honor to be able to work with Jonah and Geneva and Graham and
That was a
Ella.
great cast.
Oh my gosh, the cast. Like everyone is so talented and so unique, and I'm humbled and honored to be a part of the whole thing. Um but then I show up on set, and I really don't know much at all. And they're like, "So you're going to special effects today on day one?" I was like, "Sure, sure." "Why?" And they're like, "Well, you see, you're getting a prosthetic." I was like, "Sure." For what?" And they're like, "Well, you're getting a fork to the eye in the first episode." And I was like,
Oh.
"Oh, it's not in the audition sites." And so from that moment, I knew this was going to be like one hell of a character. And it's such a gift. It's such good
Did they
writing.
coach you on how to react, like how your character's supposed to respond to this fork in the eye?
No, well, no, I did go. So I went to stunt rehearsals because I was very intent on doing my own stunt. That is actually me doing my stunt. I had a stunt double on set, and she was amazing. And
Probably the
also,
ballet dancing that allowed you
right.
to.
The funny thing is that the fight that ends up with the fork in my eye is actually like a good bit longer than is what's in the
Oh.
first episode. I we rehearsed like 8 different versions of the fight, and I was like, "So Jonah, I'd like to show you the fight options that we worked on." And he was like, "How many options do we like? This is crazy. Like this is so." And it was so fun to show them what we had been working on, and the stunts team, and everyone was so cool. And now all I want to do is action movies. Like, put me in for all of the
Well, you
stunts.
were so good in it.
Thank
That's why I
you.
said you
Thank
came
you.
across as such a badass. That we loved
Thanks.
your character.
Thank you. No, and it was such a great place to start from, because I think once I knew that she had the capacity to take a fork to the eye and keep on fighting,
Yeah.
I knew this was a character who I was just intrigued to know more about. And it was so cool to see the world be, intrigued with her as well.
Yeah.
She's really, and I'm so excited to see where they take her in season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. You got the whole pregnancy thing and
I know, no more baby.
baby.
What's funny too is, having watched lots of TV and film throughout my life, I was like, well, um, halfway through the season when I have my baby,
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I'm no longer gonna have the pregnancy gimmick. I'm gonna be a mother. Am I going to get written out? And I was like a little worried, and
Yeah, I could see
but I
that.
think, right. And I was like, well, now she'll be a mom, so she'll be busy with the baby. And I was so worried, and I was so worried. And then, because we get the script as we're about to start filming each episode, but not long before. So I am finding out new information about my character episode by episode.
I mean, it'd be kind of fun, but a little nerve-wracking.
Oh yeah. Um, and so the day came, I was like, all right, I already had my baby. I was ready. And that was the episode that they made me overseer. And so I was like, wow, she's back in the game. And I think the funniest bit is that then I have Chet holding my baby in almost every scene, which to me is hilarious because Dave Register, who plays Chet, is this 6'6", like
Big dude.
Superman looking guy, but he just plays Chet so wonderfully, like such a beta.
Yeah, but that's it. We like Chet because of that reason. He is. He's just a nice guy.
Yeah, and see, Chet's such a great example of how they like take an archetype of a character, which for him would be the like big strong guy, right? And then totally subvert it just with great writing and just brilliant comedic acting by Dave Register. Truly, such
Are
a
we
fun.
going to get to see you exit, the the vault?
I don't know.
Because
I'm
that would
wondering.
be cool.
I have no idea. I would love to.
Yeah,
I
we'll
would
let you
love to
wander
be.
around a little bit.
Annabelle would love to leave the vault. I'm not so sure Steph wants to leave the vault. I think she's pretty comfortable being elected overseer of Vault 32.
It's a
So,
good career move.
right, right. Yeah, no. Yeah, she's at the top right now. And I don't think she's gonna, if I had to guess, which I really don't know anything about season 2, I would guess that she is gonna cling to that title very tightly.
Yeah.
If I guess.
Yeah.
But that's just,
We don't want to mess with Steph.
no, I don't think anyone
Like
would.
she seems really nice and friendly,
Yeah.
but he can turn it off very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. She can also dress you up in her dead husband's sweater and seduce you. I mean, it's
Yeah.
she's an unpredictable
She
lady.
recovered very quickly from her dead husband.
Yeah. Yeah. Poor. Yeah, she was so sad. She was really, truly just devastated at the
She
death
was
of her
torn
husband.
up.
No,
Do you think she was more upset about the husband or the eye?
oh, the eye.
I think so too.
I think Steph loved Bert in her own way. But when she lost him, that he was gone and it was on to the next move, which I think her move with Chet is very strategic. She knows that she needs the support of another man in the vault and she needs a father for her child. And
Well, she's going to be working and running things. She's got to have somebody at home.
I need to have a stay-at-home dad. Right. Um, yeah.
See, I would not be upset with that role. That doesn't sound too bad. I'll stay home, take care of the baby.
No, my fiance says the same thing. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm cool with being a stay-at-home dad. You can go be a movie star.
That sounds terrible.
Doesn't sound terrible, does it? Hopefully Chet's up for the job, but
Chet can do it.
yeah.
I think at some point we're going to see badass Chet.
Oh,
He's going to snap at some point.
I wonder. Yeah. I mean, with these writers, anything could happen.
Anything could happen.
I mean, they really are like just so good at building that tension, creating like the weirdest, kookiest comedic, scenes ever. And it still feels so epic at the same time, right? It feels like very character driven and it feels um intimate in moments, but they keep that epic sci-fi scale going
Right.
at this.
Well, they did a good job because it's a new story.
Yeah.
But they maintained the lore, so they're taking care of the gaming fans, but they're also giving a new story, which should attract everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Have you played the game?
Well, yeah. I wasn't able to get very far, unfortunately. I am catastrophically bad at video games.
Yeah, same.
So,
Unless you want to if you want to bring out an Atari, that's
sure.
what I grew up on. So
I can play like a little Mario Kart, but
very good.
beyond that, that's about it. No, so I did not get very far. So in order to expedite my learning process, I watched a lot of gameplay instead, which was really fun. And
smart.
My brothers are big fans of the game, and so I totally earned some good big sister points with this part.
Did you watch the one that takes place in West Virginia?
I did. Yes, I
Because it's
did.
got Camden Park and
Yeah,
that's all
yeah.
right where we
I
are.
think I did actually watch that one. It's been a little while, but the Fallout games themselves are so vivid. The world making in those games is incredible.
Pretty
So
great.
we're so lucky to work with that IP and that canon that already exists. I mean, they've already have a lot of amazing um, bases for what a character in the Fallout world could look like. And I think the writers did an amazing job with, and Jonah too, with taking the games, truly understanding the essence of them and
Yeah.
on screen. It wasn't, word for word. It wasn't like everything was perfectly lined up with the games, but it was pretty close. And on top of that, I believe they just added to the canon rather than like
Yeah,
ch-
agreed. They
or
did a
trying
really good job.
remake something that's already been made in the games. And um, Todd Howard, when I saw him at the LA premiere, which was just so glamorous and fun and amazing for us all to celebrate together.
I'm
Um,
glad you got to do a premiere because we went a couple years, nobody got to do those.
I know with COVID, but this was just the best
You
night
have it at the Chinese theater.
we did. It was
Yeah.
so cool. I mean, it was pretty.
That's where we're staying. I told you we're going out to LA. We're staying at the Roosevelt. So
You're right there.
right there.
There's a great bowling alley bar in the Roosevelt, by the way, that you should
Oh,
definitely.
oh yeah, I've been there.
It's very
That's
cool.
my favorite place to stay in LA.
So
I'm
cool.
very routine.
Yeah.
So I like being right. I know that's kind of the tourist end of the city, but
Right.
I can get to everything.
Yeah.
I know where everything's at.
Yes, exactly.
It's very important to me.
We actually went to that bowling alley bar the night before the premiere, and we were watching them set up Hollywood Boulevard, and they shut down Hollywood Boulevard for our premiere, which they usually don't do for a TV show. So
Yeah.
we were incredibly lucky to have just the most exciting premiere and with a packed this is the biggest theater and the largest screen I've ever seen in my life. Uh, I've never seen my face so large, and it's overwhelming for sure.
Yeah.
But it was so cool to feel the energy in that room, and everyone was just so proud of the work we had done. Um, and I really underestimated the fans, and I have never really done a premiere like this before. And I stepped out of the car, and it's truly like a whole wall of fans who are so passionate about these games. And in that moment, I noticed, I was like, oh wow, this show is going to mean a lot to people if it's really good.
Yeah.
Because video games are different. You spend so much time in them,
That's
and
right.
you're playing as a character, so you're kind of living, and you're spending hours living as a character in these worlds. And so it is personal to them, and it's so rewarding to see them love it, and to be like, you guys did it, you got it right, because they are a part of that legacy too. And part of like what anyway, when I saw Todd Howard at the premiere.
I mean, good for you for getting the fan
Yeah,
situation because as fans, that's all we want. We
it's
want to
so
see
cool.
the things we love represented in a
Yeah.
way that's entertaining.
Yes. And it's so hard to do because,
Yeah,
like, there's a million things that can get in your way when you're trying to do
that's
an
right.
adaptation of a video game, and they really got it right. And that's because, the Bethesda folks and like James Altman and Todd Howard, they were on set with us quite a bit, and
Oh, that's
they
awesome.
were a part of the process. And Todd came up to me and he was like, when we were identifying the pieces of the show that felt quintessentially Fallout, he said the fork to the eye is one of those moments that is quintessentially Fallout. It is, kind of camp. It is crazy and bloody. It it is like just funny as hell. And it's all of those things, and it's wrapped up in one, and it completely, subverts your expectations. And I loved that. I loved that I got to be a part of the show that Todd Howard, the game creator, said that's Fallout.
I
Like
love
that,
that, and he's
captured
right.
the game. Yeah.
We don't think of. I don't. I hadn't thought about it, but it
Yeah.
is kind of campy, which
Oh,
is part of the
yeah.
reason it's so great.
Yes. People
Yeah.
love things that are it's theatrical,
Yes,
and I think there's so
a
many
little
amazing
soap opera
people.
in
Oh
that time.
yeah. And the vault deserves its own little soap opera. Like we could give an entire show that's just like the social politics of a vault. Um, I'm sure I hope they keep up with us in Vault 32 in season 2.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of drama with Steph at the helm. But
Would you watch a show? What
mm,
if you put Stephanie, that character, in like a June Cleaver role, where she's like a Leave It to Beaver type show or a Doris Day type of show, but so that's the main part of the show, and maybe it's in black and white, but then at night she's like a spy, or she has a secret life that she goes do, and that part of the show's in color.
that's fun.
There
I
you go.
love that.
I
I love
know.
that
I'm
idea.
an idea guy.
You should call Amazon and see if they'll do a Steph spin-off series that's just that. I
I
think
would
that
watch that.
yeah.
Like maybe it's Steph
She's
before
fun.
the vault.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and they don't tell you who Steph is before the vault. So
Right.
be curious to find out who she is in season 2.
Yeah. I wanted to mention that it's Stephanie Harper is the name of the character, but you played a character named Harper in Dear Edward.
Oh yeah, I know. Isn't that funny?
I thought that was kind of funny. Has
Yeah,
no
Harper.
connection, but it's
Yeah,
good coincidence.
I know. So funny. It is. It is a funny name. Yeah. There's always going to be little coincidences in the world, especially in the entertainment industry. It's like
Did they let you keep
fun.
the vault costume?
No,
Oh, that's terrible.
no.
But you could wear that every Halloween.
I know. Um, no, I didn't. The only thing I have, I hope I'm not in trouble for having this. I do have my face prosthetic.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
See, now you could just show up at conventions in costume
Right.
and just be like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Give me a table.
Right. No, it's funny. I'm very excited. I'm now working with some conventions agents, and I'm so excited to start maybe going to
They're
some
so
Comic
fun.
Cons
Yeah.
and
I mean, 99% of the people are amazing. They're just, I mean,
yes.
you get some knuckleheads, but the
Oh,
majority, it's
that's
just
the world.
awesome, just positive energy.
Yeah, no, I live in New York City. Yeah, like I would say like 90% of this population are absolute knuckleheads. So like at a Comic Con, what's so great is it's so fun because the fans of our show at Comic Cons and otherwise, um, they're so excited about something. They're passionate about something and unabashedly excited about it. You know, there's not a lot of opportunities, especially as an adult, where you just get to be a true fan
Yeah.
of something and to not be jaded and to just have
Why
an
not be embarrassed about it?
yes.
Just be yourself.
Right. Exactly.
And
It's
I don't
so
think we ever get too old for that. We think we do when we grow up, but you really don't. It's in there.
no. We all, as children, we all play pretend, right? Like we all go on the playground, and I think that part of us doesn't die, it just gets suppressed by societal standards and
I
blah
agree.
blah 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 blah. But I really think the more opportunities that you can find for yourself, where you can let like your imagination as an adult just be free, it's so good for you. It's so healthy, and so
It is.
Comic Cons are such a fun place for everyone to gather and just, you know, reignite that part of themselves.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Well, Annabelle, thank you for taking a little bit of time. I was so looking forward to this interview, and you have exceeded my expectations.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice. It's so, so nice. It's been so wonderful to meet you and just to
You got to come back maybe after season 2 so we can catch back
sure.
up.
I would love
See where
that.
Stephanie goes.
Yeah, let's see where she goes. I mean, I have the same questions you do, and everyone does, right? Like, what happens to her now? But
She's just too quirky a character not to do something with.
oh, I know she is a weird lady,
Yeah.
and it
But in
just
the best way.
oh yeah, no, I it's such a gift to be able to play a character like her, right? Who is more than meets the eye, who people are just sort of curious about because, her behavior is odd and erratic, but she's got this sort of like put together exterior
She has a
and
calm about her, but it's like a menacing calm.
yeah. Good. I'm glad that came across that,
Yeah.
you filmed something, we filmed it starting in 2022. So you just sort of film it and then you hope that you
That's
did
right.
what you needed to do. And then you're
I
like,
hope it's good.
okay,
I'll find out in a couple years.
right. And then you just sort of sit at home, and every now and then I'm like washing a dish and I'm like, oh God, I hope that scene went okay. And I'm like, well, we'll just have to wait.
Have to wait and see.
Yeah, but hopefully the wait for season 2 isn't too long for all of us. I
I
would
hope
love
we get it. I hope we get it early next year. We'll see.
that would be cool, but I don't,
Well, I know that's probably too fast. It's
that
usually
would
anymore. It's like a year and a half to 2 years between seasons.
yeah, I know. It's tough, but with these shows with all of these special effects and
It's worth the wait, though.
wait.
On the really good ones, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to tell you before I let you go. I got to tell you my my New York story.
Oh,
My
I'm
first
ready.
time in New York story.
Okay.
So you're from Virginia, which is very
I
close to West Virginia. You know, it's a
Mhm.
little slower here.
Just over the mountains.
That's right, just over the mountains. So it's a
Yeah.
little slower here. So you go to New York and everybody is just running, is what it felt like.
Yes.
The first time I was there, it's so moving. And being from West Virginia, I was being overly polite. People are darting, and I was just like, oh, okay, I'll wait. I'm still waiting, still waiting. Well, a police officer on a horse came up behind me, and he's like, buddy, if you don't just go, you're going to be standing there all day.
Ah.
I was like, okay, I'll wait my turn, but I never would have moved. You just
No,
gotta go.
you just gotta go. You learned, yeah. I used to like make eye contact with people on the street in New York and say like, "Hey, how are you?" Because where we are from, that's what you do. If you make eye contact with someone on the sidewalk, you say, "Hey, how's it
Hey,
going?"
how's it going? That's right.
Yeah, and I had a woman come up to me with a thick accent. She's like, "I'm sorry. Do I know you? Do I know you? Are you lost?" And I'm like, "No, no, we don't. No, we don't know each other. I was just trying to say hello." And she was like, "Oh my God,"
Yeah, what's
and
the matter with
like
you?
walked away. And I was like, note to self, like, don't say hello to strangers. But I've started to try to, and then I stopped, and now I'm trying to actually work
You
that
bring
back
it back.
in the morning. So when I'm on my walk through Riverside Park in the morning, I've started to just say good morning, and folks are like, "Oh, hi, good morning," but mostly positive reactions so
Well, that's
far.
good. We're
Um,
making
but
progress.
I think we can make New York a little more personable. And you know what? It should be slowed down every now and then too.
Anything else you're working on that we can keep an eye out for?
I am so during the strike,
Mhm.
we obviously weren't able to work on anything major, but a friend of mine was making a super, super, super micro low budget movie.
Oh,
And he's wonderful. He's a great actor and a great writer. His name is Jacob Roberts. And he's a friend of mine from college, and we used to do like improv club together.
nice.
And he uh, was able to get me a waiver to do a very small part in a film, and we just had such fun making
Oh,
it.
that's
And
awesome.
it's premiering at Tribeca in June.
Well, it's not
So
that small then.
yeah, as well, it is such a great story, and it's called Rent Free, and so it'll be at the Tribeca Film Festival, I think starting like June 7th or something. And so that's coming out
Yeah,
soon. But
maybe
yeah,
we'll get to see that before the end of the year then.
yeah, it'll come out very soon. So I'm very excited for him and the whole crew on that. And I'm right now I'm just auditioning for other opportunities and hoping that something comes up, and then I'm just getting ready for season 2 whenever they call me
We all
on the
are.
yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Last thing before I let you go, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram. I'm only an Instagram girl. I don't
That's the
have
best one.
Twitter or anything else. You can find me on Instagram. It's just Annabelle O'Hagan. It's just my name.
Yeah, it came right up.
Yeah, good.
It's the one L but two N's.
2 N's, 1 L. Yeah, it's my signature. No, it's funny. The first time that I I ever really thought about my name in a professional sense, I had just finished like filming my first Law and Order SVU episodes.
Oh,
It was my
yeah,
first
we
job,
like
and
that one.
yeah, my manager called me and she was like, "So, what do you want your name to be?" I was like, "What?" She's like, "Well, on the credits, what do you want your name to be? This is going to be the name that you have on everything for the rest
They
of your life."
never asked that. That's awesome.
And I was like, "What? Uh." I was like, "Am I supposed to say a different name than my own?" She's like, "No, you're allowed to." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I would like for it to be Annabelle O'Hagan." And she was like, "Great." And I had like nightmares that they had spelled it wrong or something, but no, just yeah, Annabelle O'Hagan at Instagram. I don't know why I told you that whole story.
That's a good story.
Yeah, but it's a weird moment where you're like, oh, this is my actor name forever because everyone picks a stage
You've
name.
got a good acting name, though.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I think it sounds like an actor.
Again, I'll tell my parents that you like it. They'll be
They
very
did
proud.
good. They did
Yeah.
good. Tell them the
Yeah.
spelling. That's what does it.
It's the spelling. It's
It's the
good. The
spelling.
apostrophe too. It's fun. Keeps
I
it
do
fresh.
like that. It mixes it up a little bit.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, Annabelle, open invitation. When you're ready, please come back.
Thank you. This has been so wonderful to talk with you, and I hope you have a great trip to LA.
I know I'm so excited.
Have the best time.
It's going to be good. I'll
It
send
will.
you some pictures.
Right. Yes, please do. Please do.
All right. Hold on one
Had a great
second.
chat with you.
Oh, it's been the best. Thank you so much.
Of course.
How great was Annabelle? She was terrific. I knew she was going to be good. Nobody plays that character that well and doesn't have a really good personality. I guess you could have a crappy personality and just be a really good actor, but I had a feeling she was going to be terrific, and she was. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you're a Fallout fan and you haven't watched the show, what are you doing? That show, and admittedly, I was not a fan before the show. I was not a gamer. I watched because of Brett, but thank goodness I did because it was awesome. Loved it. I am a sci-fi fan, obviously, so really, really enjoyed that. If you haven't watched it yet, it's I think it's 10 episodes. I think that's right. And it's you'll go through it and be looking for more. It's a quick watch and a fun watch, a lot of action, a lot of hijinks. It's good. It's good. It's really really a fun show. Can't wait for season 2. I'm sure we'll see more of Stephanie Harper in season 2. She's the Overlord. So we'll see. It's really, really good. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And I told a little bit about my first time in New York story. I've been a few times since then. I also on that first trip, I've those that watch the show know I'm celiac, so I have a celiac. Can't do wheat, which means I can't do beer. Although there's a lot of options gluten free out there now, but that didn't used to be the case. So when I first went to New York, there really wasn't gluten free beer. So I was with a group. We went to an Irish pub, and I asked for a cider because I was thinking, can't do beer. I'll do a cider. Well, at that time, ciders weren't that popular either, but they were out there. So I asked in an Irish pub, and I asked the guy behind the bar, if he had a cider. Well, in a very New York accent, and I can't do the accent, he leans back from the bar, and he looks back into the kitchen, and he says, "Hey, Sal, got a guy out here who's wanting a cider. We got any cider?" So Sal leans out, and he's like, "Yeah, look under the counter. I think there's one under there." So I'm thinking, well, I'm not very confident in the quality of this drink, that there may be one cider under the bar. So, he gets under the bar. He's digging around under there for a few minutes, and he eventually comes up with a cider. The label is torn, and it's warm. It's just been sitting under the counter, but he puts it up on the counter, and he's like, "There's your beer," or "There's your cider." Sorry, that was a long story, but it still amuses me. It's still that to me is New York. That's New York. If you're finding us for the first time, thank you for watching. I'm so glad that you're here. If you're a Fallout fan or a gaming fan, we do a lot of interviews based around gaming. We talk to a ton of actors. A lot of those have done work on video games or video game adaptions. We do a lot of work with Call of Duty, for example. So if you're a gamer, definitely check out our backlog because we've got a ton of that stuff in there. If you'd like to support us, it's real easy to do. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. It's free, helps us out a ton. Our website is meistercon.com. You can find all of our episodes, audio and video. We're closing in on 800 of them on the website, meistercon.com. If we're doing anything in studio, covering a convention, going on location, it'll be on the website, meistercon.com. So please check us out there. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, recently named us a top 100 podcasts. So please check out our page on IMDb as well. It's under Too Opinionated Podcast. If you go to imdb.com, look up Too Opinionated. Just that traffic on the page helps us out. And you also get to see all of the guests and episodes that we've had. I guarantee you'll find somebody that you love or somebody that you will love. So please check us out there. 15 million podcasts out there or so, growing. To be on anybody's top 100 list, pretty special. So really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm once again here to ask for your support. It's been a big year for the Too Opinionated Podcast. Back in February, we got to live out a dream, moderate for William Shatner here in our hometown. In May, we passed 100,000 downloads on our YouTube channel, and we followed that up in June with 50,000 downloads on the audio side. We recently posted our 600th episode, which is pretty good volume for just a father and son operation. You know, not too many podcasts can keep that volume up. We've been doing this now for 4.5 years, 600 plus episodes. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is a really big deal for us because we've always gotten the views, but have struggled to get people to subscribe. So that 1,000 was a big deal for us. And best of all, we were recently named one of the top podcasts on IMDb, which is the entertainment database. You know, those that are ahead of us, we came in at number 82. Those that are ahead of us are bigger companies like Disney, mostly Marvel, and Joe Rogan, that type of podcast. So for us, being just a small West Virginia father and son podcast, to be in the top 100 out of 15 million, it's a pretty big deal for us. So thank you for everything you've done for us so far. Got a couple little ways, though, that you can help us, and they're free, and they're really easy. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, please go to YouTube. It's under MeisterCon Pod. Just hit subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Really helps us a ton. And maybe even more important, if you could go to imdb.com, look up the Too Opinionated Podcast, and just look around the page. Just having that traffic on the page really helps us out. So that's a couple easy ways that you can support us, even if you're not listening or watching all of the time. And we want you to listen and watch, because I think that our guest list, I would put up against anybody, any other show, podcast, anybody out there. I think our guest list holds up. So please check us out. You probably will find somebody that you like, or maybe somebody that you didn't know you liked, but kind of discovered them on there. There's tons of that. If you're into music, we have that too. If you like books, we've got authors on there. If you're more into what goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment world, you know, we've got producers, directors, video artists, anything you can think of that happens behind the scenes, we've had them on the show. So definitely check us out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.